My name is Daniel Scott with UDAYA.com, and this is Average Joga, a series of easy-to-digest yoga tutorials for people who don't do yoga yet. Take what you like, leave what you don't, go at your own pace, and learn to build your practice from the ground up. The building blocks, plank and chaturanga. Whew, man, you're going to spend a lot of time doing these things over the course of your yoga career, so might as well get the alignment right and understand why you're doing it in the first place. Usually you'll find these in vinyasa flows. That definitely is part of the thing that you do to wipe the slate clean between all of your different sequencing that you might do in a more active class. Also, plank and chaturanga are really great ways to build shoulder awareness, shoulder strength, and core awareness and core strength, all while working on holding shape and breathing at the same time. So remember this, even though we will be holding these for extended periods of time, don't hold the breath. Just hold the shape while moving the breath. And you'll find that maybe, just maybe, even though the muscles will be engaged, you'll be able to keep a little bit of softness without having to have a sharp edge every time you move through it. Starting in plank. Now, plank is as simple as saying, go to the top of a push-up. But for some people, that might be challenging enough. So fingertips, knuckles, base of palm, fingertip, knuckle, base of palm, fingertips are pointing forward. Now, just in this tabletop position, turn your elbows out so it's like a bulldog, and then turn your elbows in so the creases of the elbows point forward towards the front of your mat as best as you can. It's going to feel like the tricep is rotating inward. That's going to feel the shoulders opening through the top of the collarbones. Now from here, the knees under the hips, extend one leg back, spread the toes, and extend the heel past back behind you towards the back of your mat. And then from here, second leg follows suit. Now it's kind of hard to see while you're in the pose, but sometimes the butt likes to go up, or sometimes the butt likes to hang. So if that's the case, place the knees back down, this time slightly back past the hips. Extend one leg, extend the other, and then engage the thighs, push the heels back, draw the navel in, and then look the eyes just past the fingertips. Don't tuck the chin, don't raise the chin. Now you'll find if the tailbone goes up, the heart starts to kind of shoot a laser beam back past the heels of the palm. And if the hips begin to lower, if you were to shoot that same laser beam, the heart's going to go past the fingertips. So try to think that your heart light is pointing directly down in plank. So again, if your knees are down, extend one leg, extend the other, extend through the arms, shine those elbow creases forward, and just hang out here. If you lift the chin, the hips tend to drop. If you tuck the chin, the hips tend to raise. So try to find that nice, even and easy line of the hips between the heels and the shoulders. Navel's drawing in, spine is floating between the shoulders, breath is floating smoothly, and oh my gosh, why would you hold plank any longer than you need to? Lower the knees down, take a pause. If holding plank for anything longer than a breath or two is too much, here's what you can work on. Next time someone says go to plank, you don't have to go to plank. You can have the knees slightly dropped. You can have the hands under the shoulders, and you can find length from here. Work on building a core awareness, work on building the arm strength necessary to simply hold the torso up, and then over time, extend one leg, extend another. One thing to think about is that when you start to get tired and the gas runs out, don't just collapse. Keep the elbows straight. Drop a knee, drop the other knee, take the tailbone back towards the heels. Now this is a really important thing to think about. If you are in the process of building strength or shoulder opening in your practice, when you feel that you're running out of energy, don't go so far that you collapse and fall on your face. Maintain a little bit of an hourglass in the back of your head thinking, oh, I have maybe another second or two before I get tired. So don't just collapse and fall down. Use that breath and use that awareness. Listen to your body and go out as softly and as smoothly as you came in. So again, using that extension, and lengthening into your body and like, oh, I'm getting super tired. Drop a knee, drop another knee, take the tailbone back. That little movement right there, that subtle control it's the same amount of control and awareness that you're going to have as you start moving through more complicated flows, whether it's a Surya Namaskar A, B, whether it's an advanced level 2, 3 class. Don't think about losing the movement. Think about constantly being in movement and being very deliberate with everything that you do. This is going to translate very well towards Chaturanga. Now, from plank, there's a lot of times we're often asked to lower into Chaturanga. Now, if you don't have the strength to do Chaturanga just yet, lower the knees, then lower the heart between the thumbs and lift the chin. Now, if this is too much here, you don't have to lower all the way, but keep the elbows hugged in. You'll see with those elbows turned out like a bulldog, the fingers turn in. So the elbows want to point in the opposite direction of the fingertips. So if you hug the elbows in and those elbow creases are pointing forward in your plank, when you start to bend the elbows, you see how they hug in towards the ribs? Fantastic. One thing to think about here, and you can do it from actually sitting, it's quite nice. As you bend the elbows, keep the wrist bones in line with the crease of the wrist and the elbow, so it's to here, right? You're not bending like this, the shoulders towards the knuckles and the knuckles towards the shoulders. What you're trying to do is rub or slide the side bodies from the elbow to the wrist and back. So when we're coming down from plank into a Chaturanga, right? You're trying to keep the elbows over the wrists, not lift the chin, but keep the shoulders at a 90-degree angle from the elbows and back up. Now, holding a Chaturanga with the shoulders super far past the wrist can be really tiring. So maybe just go down halfway at first. And you don't even have to have the knees up. You can keep the knees bent, bend the elbows. And you see how I'm trying to see the torso extends forward and the elbows stacked over the wrist? You can even see that I'm shaking. This is a lot of work. So if you just do a few of these guys, slow and controlled, you'll start building strength and awareness that when your legs are fully extended and you start going into Chaturanga, that you can hold it a little bit longer than you're used to and pressing back up. Poor positioning on this one. Turns out that when you start doing a Chaturanga, that you start doing this, the shoulders slide back to the knuckles, and you see what happens? My shoulders are rounding down. This over time will really hurt. This can really cause a lot of damage. So you want to keep the shoulders lifted. It's like imagining the shoulders lift up to the ears, back and down the spine. You can see that there's a lot of opening in the chest. When you collapse, you put a lot of pressure and rounding in the upper back. So think about keeping those shoulders broad as you lower down, with those elbows floating as comfortably over the wrists as possible. So if the chin tucks, you tend to go back. If the chin lifts, you tend to open up. So keep the ears open, the neck long, and the eyes looking down directly in front of you. You know, you don't have to do these with me. You can go at your own pace in your own time. Now, the last thing to talk about is the weight in the hands. Often, the fingertips start to slide in. You put a lot of pressure into the crease of the wrist. So really think that not just the fingertips and the base of the palm is pressing down, but the knuckles between the two are also very strong. So having those knees bent and doing these smaller movements, bring the awareness into the knuckles to find a full hand connection as you move through this practice. So take a few moments before every class to warm up the hands, warm up the arms, and then warm up the breath to help you move those muscles, to move those bones, to make your practice more fluid, more smooth, and most importantly, all yours. So, how'd all that land for you? Hopefully it sparked a fire. And if you're looking to fan the flame, head over to UDAYA.com and enter the promo code AVERAGE JOGA, JOGA. You're going to have access to a lot more classes from myself and a host of amazing teachers from around the world of all shapes, styles, and colors. By all means, let this serve as a great foundation to build a home practice on that you can have for the rest of your life. Enjoy, enjoy.